This is James Lupton, delighted to be joined with Stitch Duran. Stitch, how are you?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for touching base with me. It's been a while, bro. We got to do this more often.
Absolutely, we'll make it a regular thing, no problem at all with me. Stitch, some big news today. Tyson Fury has pulled out of the Usyk fight, postponed the date due to a cut. Now, you know cuts very well. You're the perfect man to get on here. Also, you know Tyson Fury very well also. First of all, just from the picture that came out of the cut, just explain how bad that is.
Yeah, it's a cut. It's deep. You can tell, but I'm looking at it closely, and Tyson, his eyes are closed, and he's kind of his forehead is kind of going up, so it opens up the cut, right? And you look at it, and yeah, and it's definitely a deep cut. But when you look at danger, and yeah, the fight should be stopped, no doubt about it. And postpone and let him heal. But if this was to actually happen in a real fight, James, then the probability of him losing the fight because of the cut was real slim, because of where it's at. So the blood would actually come down to the side of the eye, and it wouldn't be a problem. And those type of cuts, there's not a lot of veins around that area, so to control it wouldn't be that hard
This,
if you know what you right. That
you,
helps.
you certainly do know what you're doing in that department. The cut seems very close and similar position to where the cut was with Otto Wallin in that fight. Do you think it's just a case of scar tissue there is obviously a bit weak and it's going to happen naturally?
Well, you just never know. There's so many situations that happen that create certain situations. I never look at them that way, but I do look at it that way, right? And that's not my concern, right? And like when I first started working with Tyson Fury, we talked about his cuts, and how they did a nice job in stitching them up, and then I told him, I said, look, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep ice on you every round. I'm not going to wait till you start swelling and till you start creating some kind of redness, and then makes the cut a lot easier. And after the fight, he gave me a kiss on the cheek and thanked me and says, "Thanks for keeping ice on me." But something simple as that.
Is that something that you would recommend that he would do, say, in camp as well? When he's sparring, between rounds of sparring, before and after, just ice up, just to help it that little bit.
Well, it's a little difficult in sparring, James, because you got the headgear, and that's usually no, it's not going to happen. The headgear in reality, 9 out of 10 times, 99 out of 100 times should protect you from any type of cuts. Where that was at, where the headgear falls, all right, up here, then something it must have pushed it up, clash of heads or something like that. But one of those freak accidents.
There's a video's come out. It's rumored to be of what happened, and it looks like an elbow. It looks like Tyson sort of slips a left hook from Kevin Lorena, it appears to be, and it follows through with the elbow, and that's what it looks like catches him, and that is what's rumored to have made the cut there. And I think it kind of makes sense, like you said, a head clash or an elbow, something like that is going to cause that sort of issue. In terms of stitches and recovery time for him to be able to then restart camp, what we're looking at, they're talking about a few months on social media. But from your experience, what would you say it would be recovery time?
Yeah, usually it's like 100 days. It's a 3 month period to let him, let the cut heal fully. And I think after like 2 weeks, they take the stitches out, right? And then from there, it's just a healing process. But it's funny you bring that up. I'm working with a company that created good plug that created a cream for cuts, the healing process made out of CBD and vegetable stem cell and collagen and all that. And I've used it on fighters, and it expedites the healing process real well. So yeah, in that situation, yeah, just give him 3 months, and I think he'll be good.
And just to circle back around to a moment ago, the question I mentioned there about the cut reopening, things like that, because of the scar tissue, is it going to be an issue going into fights for Tyson as a fighter? But also, let's say if he was working the corner, you would need to be aware of this and know this sort of thing happens. And are you going to keep a special close eye on that?
That's a good question. And worst case scenarios, I always prepare for the worst case scenario, and this would be a case where, and I'm sure Tyson Fury would also. In the mental game, it's important for all of us, including himself, to look at this on a positive way. That the chances of him losing the fight because of the cut are extremely slow, or low, I should say. And we gotta, or they have to put that into his head that what, you just go out there and fight the way you normally fight, and the cut should be no problem.
I want to ask you as well, because you know Tyson on a personal level, you've worked with Tyson Fury, and a lot of people on social media, as you know what it's like when there you get plenty of people who aren't the biggest fans of Tyson Fury. A lot of people are saying it's an excuse. He was trying to find a way out. He wanted a postponement. There's even talks of he's having a bad camp. He's getting dropped by sparring partners, X, Y, Z. And like I say, the rumours always will swirl around on social media. But like I say, you know Tyson very well yourself. Do you think this is Tyson looking for a way out, or is this a pure freak accident, like you mentioned earlier?
It's just 100% freak accident. Same table I'm talking to you right now. We're having breakfast, my wife and I, and I bring that up. I'm reading all the comments, right? And she goes, that's why I quit going to the UFC because everybody was an armchair quarterback and nobody really knew. So you're going to get those type of movements, especially people that don't like Tyson Fury. But no, listen, I know Tyson Fury. He's a gladiator. He's a warrior, and yeah, it's one of those freak accidents. Now that you tell me, because I haven't seen the video, that it was maybe the elbow. Well, that's a highly likable technique that would create that kind of cut. But good point. I haven't seen the video yet, but yeah, I would say if it was an elbow, then that's what did it. And just looking at the type of cut, right from the edge of the elbow would do that.
In terms of, you mentioned obviously it's a freak accident, just this is something that's not going to happen every day. So in terms of frustrations for well, not only Tyson, obviously Usyk as well, but also the sparring partner who has caused this freak accident, he's going to feel awful, I'd imagine as well. What's the mood going to be like around the camp?
Well, I think it's going to be okay. It happens. That's the type of thing, and like I say, the mental game is really your number one preparation from this on. You just let it heal. Time itself will heal it. Tyson from this point on could work on different techniques, conditioning. Just different hand techniques, and just continue working and prepare for the next game and get his mental game straight. And I think he will.
You mentioned that about 100 days sort of rest and recovery as such on the cut. Is that 100 days until you can start sparring again? Would you say even longer, maybe a bit shorter than that? What would you, from experience, say?
Yeah, and that used to be, yeah, if you're going to fight, that gives at least 100 days. But with today's headgears, with especially the one that has the bar and all that, where he could do light sparring, or he could do sparring that he's been working on, let's say the jab, and so there's different ways of sparring where you don't have to go in there toe to toe. Would I go in there toe to toe right off the bat? Nah, I'd work on techniques. Just polish him up as you go, and let him build up his confidence, and see how the cut reacts, even with the headgear. See if there's any inflammation, see if there's any swelling. Those are all the little things you got to look at in preparation. And someone like in my position, that would be my number one accountability. Not so much sugar. Sugar is there to train, and so somebody, yeah, exactly. Just keep an eye on them.
And just fun, it comes on to my last question quite nicely. With this freak accident happening, when he does come back into camp again for the postponed date with Usyk, is it worth him having somebody there like yourself in your position who knows about cuts and to just manage it and keep an eye on it and just make sure they're, preparing correctly for that?
Hey, like I always say, I would prepare for worst case scenario, and that's a good point. But I would have definitely somebody that is knowledgeable on him, and the type of cuts and how do you handle them and how do you prevent them. Number one, how do you prevent the cuts from happening again? And that's a good point. So wouldn't hurt.
Absolutely. Well, Stitch, I'll get you no longer. Thank you very much for your time today. I just wanted to get you on with this breaking news, but we'll get you back on again very soon. We'll catch up.
Yeah, anytime, man. I got a lot of good things going on. Real quick, I have a new canvas line coming out. It's going to be called Tie Stitch, and it's got the cut cream, and a lot of other programs. So yeah, let's sit back and talk, James.
Absolutely. We'll sort it out.
All right.
Perfect.